Hello everyone, welcome to LTX classes. My name is Sairam. How are you all? Today through this video, I would like to explain the ongoing Maharashtra political crisis and also anti-defection law. I hope you are all aware of this one. The ongoing Maharashtra political crisis has raised many doubts on the efficiency and effective functioning of the anti-defection law. First, let us try to understand what exactly is happening in Maharashtra, and after that, let us analyze anti-defection law, 10th schedule of our constitution on a whole. But before getting into the video, let me say this. Please do hit that big fat like button if you haven't, and please subscribe to the channel for more comprehensive videos. And one more thing, please watch the video with 1.5x or 1.25x speed for optimum experience. Now without any further delay, let's dive into the video. Let's analyze this particular topic in a comprehensive manner. First up, what was in news? Finally, a new government formed in the state of Maharashtra. Mr. Eknath Shinde, who was the rebel from the previous government, sworn in as the 20th Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and the renowned leader from the BJP party, Devendra Fadnavis, he was sworn in as his Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Of course, all this happened after a drama, long serious political drama. Before knowing all the events that led to the formation of this new government, let me tell you, all these dramatic events and these extraordinary events raised doubts on the functioning of anti-defection law, which was enacted by our parliament way back in 1985 to check political defections. Defections means jumping from one party to other party. It's simply changing one's allegiance to one political party. Of course, in a democratic polity like India, defection is unacceptable. Defection is undemocratic. Defection is unfair. That is for sure. Before going to know about anti-defection law, let us know about this Maharashtra political crisis 2022. If we trace the origins of this particular political crisis and political chaos, I may say, we need to get to 2019 Maharashtra political crisis. So let us start from the background and let us analyze this particular topic in a very comprehensive manner. Having said that, let me invite you all on a great journey of the comprehensive Hindu analysis by LTX classes. Let us look at the background of this article first and let us discuss anti-defection law in a comprehensive manner. So when did it all start? In the year 2019, many states went to polls along with the parliamentary general elections. One of the states that went to polls in 2019 was Maharashtra. So on 24th October 2019 Legislative General Assembly election results were out. And out of the total 288 seats in Maharashtra Legislative Assembly, BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, emerged as the single largest party by winning 105 seats out of 288. And Shiv Sena, it won 56 seats. And Indian National Congress, it won 44, and the NCP, Nationalist Congress Party, it won 54 seats. But remember, there was a pre-poll alliance between BJP and Shiv Sena. BJP and Shiv Sena alliance, which was a pre-poll alliance, that means they allied before the elections, they secured a comfortable majority to form the government. So you know, the total assembly seats in Maharashtra were 288. Then what will be the magic number? 144 will be the magic number. That means that political party which secured more than 144 seats can be eligible to form the government, isn't it? So here BJP and Shiv Sena alliance, they got good number of seats, around 161 seats. So they were in a good position to form a new government. But in a sudden shock to Maharashtra politics, they both parted ways. After 25 years of long and strong relationship, they both parted ways because of a conflict of rotational chief ministerialship. What Shiv Sena said after the declaration of Legislative Assembly election results? There was a pre-poll agreement between BJP and Shiva Sena, that is us and Shiva Sena, on sharing chief ministerial ship. That simply means for the first 2.5 years, a member or a leader from Shiva Sena will take the chief minister's office, and the rest of the 2.5 years, a political leader from BJP will take the chief minister's office. That was the agreement that was signed between us and BJP, climbed by Shiva Sena. But BJP denied it. BJP said no such agreement was signed between us. So there was no agreement on rotational chief ministerialship. Since we got more seats in this alliance, a candidate from BJP should hold the office of chief minister for the complete 5 years, for the whole 5 years. That's what claimed by BJP. Shiva Sena rejected and they both parted ways. Since they both parted ways after the elections, no party in Maharashtra had the required majority to form the new government, right? So because the magic figure was 144 and the BJP, single largest party in Maharashtra legislative elections 2019, it got only 105 seats, right? Neither Shiva Sena and Indian National Congress, NCP, were not in a position to form the new government, right? Now let's move to the next slide. Then the governor of Maharashtra did the right thing. The governor of Maharashtra, Bhagat Singh Koshyari, he invited the single largest party, that is BJP, to form the government. But BJP declined the offer, stating that they didn't have required numbers and required majority to form the government. And now, the governor of Maharashtra invited the second largest party, that is Shiva Sena, to form the government. Shiva Sena asked for more time, but governor declined right away. Then, the governor invited the third largest party, Nationalist Congress Party, to form the government, to form the stable government. But even before the NCP's reply to his invitation, governor of the state, what he did, he submitted reports to the center on anarchy, absence of government in the state of Maharashtra, and the central cabinet got together, they met, and they decided that to impose president's rule in Maharashtra. They quickly advised the president to invoke president rule in the state of Maharashtra, and the president, who is merely a nominal head, who is just a rubber stamp, he right away invoked president's rule using the powers given by the constitution under article 356. So in the meantime, the leader of the Shiva Sena party, Uddhav Thackeray, he met with the leaders of Indian National Congress and also Nationalist Congress Party to form an alliance. Accordingly, all these three parties, along with some small parties and independent leaders, they formed an alliance, that is Mahavikas Aghadi. And when the time Shiva Sena party or Mahavikas Aghadi is about to form a new government in Maharashtra, and when the time all the news channels and print media are publishing that Uddhav Thackeray will be the 19th chief minister of Maharashtra, what the prime minister did, without even calling for a cabinet meeting, without even holding a cabinet meeting, in the midnight, he advised the president to revoke president's rule from Maharashtra using his extraordinary powers. The powers are guaranteed in the constitution, okay, but it is not a state of emergency. The government can wait for one more day to form the new government. But right in the middle of dead night, the president of the country, he revoked president rule from Maharashtra, and the BJP leader Devendra Fadnavis was sworn in as the chief minister of Maharashtra. And this Mahavikas Aghadi coalition, that is Shiva Sena, NCP and INC coalition, it approached the Supreme Court and pleaded the Supreme Court to order for a trust vote, to order for a confidence vote. The same day, the CM and his deputy, that is Devendra Fadnavis, and his deputy Ajit Pawar, they both resigned from their offices as chief minister and deputy chief minister. And subsequently, the post-poll alliance, that is Mahavikas Aghadi, that is Shiva Sena, NCP, Nationalist Congress Party, Indian National Congress, along with the support of other small parties, they formed a new government on 28th November 2019. That's what happened during 2019, which is famously called as Maharashtra Political Crisis 2019. I hope it is clear. Now let us look at what was the issue now. So what's happening in Maharashtra now? Let us get to the details. from the year 2019, from when the Mahavikas Agadi coalition alliance formed a new government in Maharashtra, to present, a rebel leader named Eknath Shinde was in favor of breaking ties with Mahavikas Agadi. So I already told you, from the past 25 years, both Shiva Sena and BJP used to have good terms between them, used to have good relation between them because of their ideology. They strongly work on Hindutva ideology, isn't it? So a Shiva Sainik, a staunch follower of Hindutva, Eknath Shinde, who was from Shiva Sena party, he strongly opposed Shiva Sena's coalition with NCP and Indian National Congress, and he always advocated re-establishing alliance with BJP again. And in May 2022, an issue happened nationwide. What was that issue? Nurpur Sharma issue. A BJP spokesperson named Nurpur Sharma, she came up with a derogatory comments on the spiritual Islamic teacher, that is Prophet Muhammad. And you all know, entire Islamic community were very enraged by this particular move. And even the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, then Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, he condemned these statements. And this condemnation by the Chief Minister himself, who used to be a staunch follower of Hindutva ideology, it hurt the sentiments of Shiva Sena and Shiva Sainiks, who were the volunteers of Shiva Sena party. And one of the rebel leader, that is Eknath Shinde, who was very upset with the condemnation from his leader, that is Uddhav Thackeray, he started to form a new faction in Shiva Sena party. And from the 2019 itself, Shiva Sena was more affected with infighting among their leaders. That was clearly evident in recent Rajya Sabha elections as well. So the Mahavikas Agadi government had the capability of electing 6 leaders from their political party. But what happened? Due to the infighting and cross-voting of the MLAs from Mahavikas Agadi, the Mahavikas Agadi government managed to win only 5 seats. So this infighting, the clear manifestation of this infighting among Mahavikas Agadi gave strength to this rebel leader Eknath Shinde. What he did? He gathered 2/3 members from his political party, that is Shiva Sena party, to support his request. That means to break ties with Mahavikas Agadi and to join hands with BJP party. Of course, he raised this issue to the leadership of Shiva Sena party multiple times. He tried to make the leadership understand about their coalition with NCP and INC and how these Shiva Sainiks are disappointed with this coalition. But the leadership largely ignored his suggestions. So he gathered 2/3 members from his party to support his request. What was his request? To break ties with MVA and to join hands with BJP. And the crisis began on this month, that is 21st June 2022, when Shinde and several other MLAs, legislators of the Mahavikas Agadi government, especially from Shiva Sena party, they moved to Surat, which was a strong fort of BJP party, isn't it? Surat is in Gujarat. Gujarat is a strong fort of BJP party. They moved to Surat and they again moved to Assam, Guwahati. The Deputy Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, what he did? He issued disqualification notices to the 16 rebel MLAs. Those who are with Eknath Shinde, those who are part of his faction, and asked for their reply within 48 hours. Within 48 hours, you need to report on this issue. We need to come up with your reply on their extraordinary recent actions. Then the Apex Court, the Honorable Supreme Court of India, it intervened and gave them a week's time to reply to the notice. 48 hours is very, very less time according to the Supreme Court of India. So the Apex Court extended the deadline to 5 more days. Moments after Supreme Court's verdict, hours after Supreme Court verdict, the Shiva Sena leader, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, he resigned from the Chief Minister's office, and the Shinde plus BJP coalition, the rebel from Shiva Sena party Eknath Shinde and BJP coalition, they succeeded in forming the new government in Maharashtra. And this rebel leader Eknath Shinde was sworn in as 20th Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and BJP leader Devendra Fadnavis was sworn in as his deputy. So this is what the entire background of this particular topic. Now, what was the catch, sir? why are we discussing this particular political article as part of our Hindu analysis? This particular article had a great relevance with our GS paper 2, polity and governance subject. We read anti-defection law from polity and governance, and it is very, very important in the exam perspective. If you look at recent prelims paper, that is prelims 2022 GS paper, there appeared a question on this particular anti-defection law. And this particular case of Maharashtra, it raised many doubts on the effective function of anti-defection law and the concerns around anti-defection law. Don't worry, I will discuss anti-defection law in great detail for you. And let me assure this, you can answer any question related to anti-defection law just by listening to our analysis. Having said that, let us move to the important topic, that is anti-defection law. So first things first, let us try to understand the meaning of defection. Defection simply means party jumping, party hopping, or changing or modifying one's allegiance to their own political party and jump to the other political party. Let me give you an example to make you understand what defection is on a whole. Let me put it this way. For example, I am a political leader who was given ticket by Congress party. Indian National Congress has given the ticket to contest in elections. And there was another party, that is BJP, also contested in general elections. Let's say after the results of the elections were out and there was a situation that no single political party was able to form the government, no single party able to secure the magic figure, the required majority to form the government. Then the newly emerged single largest party, which is unable to form the government on its own, it may bribe me, it may buy me by offering some money, by offering incentives, by offering a ministerial position. Then me, who was given the ticket to contest in elections by the Congress party, after elections, post polls, if I jump into the BJP because of money or the position they offer, then it is called defection. Why defection is dangerous to a democratic structure like India, democratic polity like India? Let us take this as an example. The people of my constituency, the voters of my constituency, may not vote for me because I am Sairam. They might have voted for me looking at the ideology of Congress party, leftist ideology. They might have voted for me looking at Sonia Gandhi or the charisma of Rahul Gandhi. Right? If I jump from my own party to the other party because they are offering money or they are offering position, etc., that is deceiving my people, isn't it? That is cheating my people. I am cheating the trust of my people, my voters, isn't it? That is the reason why defection is immoral, defection is unfair, defection is undemocratic, defection is a wrong practice in a democratic structure. I hope it is clear. Let me give you another example. Let's take Congress party and BJP party again. This time I was offered ticket from the BJP party to contest in elections. And let's suppose BJP, that is my party, secured required majority of seats to form its own government, to form the government on its own. But let's say Congress party had huge money. It has enough money to buy me. It has enough money to buy my allegiance to my previous party, to my home party, that is BJP. But attracted by the offer I have received from the Congress party, if I jump from BJP party, me along with some other parliamentarians jump from BJP to Congress, BJP might lose its majority, required majority to form the government. Here the people voted for BJP to form the stable government, but just because me and my fellow parliamentarians, my fellow legislators jumping from BJP to the Congress, I am deceiving the voters, I am deceiving the people of India, isn't it? So that is the reason why defection is wrong. Defection is a very, very, very wrong practice. I hope the concept of defection is clear to you. Let us look at the definition on paper. Defection is simply defined as either voluntarily giving up the membership. If you voluntarily give up your membership from your own party, are disobeying the directives, the rules and the norms or the political whip of your own party leadership in the vote in legislature. Let me explain this to you with an example. Let us take you are a member of BJP party. BJP party's leadership decided to come up with an act called Citizenship Amendment Act. So before becoming an act, this particular law must be introduced in the parliament. If the BJP leadership decides to introduce this particular law in the parliament the next day, then the political whip who takes care of the disciplinary aspects among the leaders of the political party, legislators of the political party, he will send you a message stating that our leadership, BJP leadership, has decided to introduce a law on citizenship and you are supposed to vote in supportive of this particular law. But I may have a different ideology. Despite receiving the norms and the directives from the political whip, if I vote against this Citizenship Amendment Act, then that also accounts to defection. That can also be called as defection. Hope the topic of defection, the definition of defection is clear from this slide. Right? Now let us look at different provisions of Anti-Defection Law, which is a part of 10th schedule of our constitution. And also let us look at the background of Anti-Defection Law. Pay attention, you will understand the entire topic very easily. So, Anti-Defection Law. Anti-Defection Law was formally incorporated in the 10th schedule of our Indian Constitution. And what is the rationale, what is the motive behind Anti-Defection Law? To prevent or to check political defections. So, defection simply means jumping from one party to the other. And what is the rationale behind enacting this Anti-Defection Law? What is the rationale behind incorporating 10th schedule to our Indian Constitution? To check political defections, to check leaders from jumping from one party to the other. And this Anti-Defection Law was passed by our Parliament in 1985 because before 1985 there were many instances where many state governments were collapsed due to these political defections. And that is a threat to democracy. That is the reason why, in order to safeguard democracy in the country, Parliament has come up with this Anti-Defection Law in 1985. And through an amendment in 2002, this Anti-Defection Law was strengthened and this Anti-Defection Law was made more efficient. And the point to note here is 10th schedule of the Constitution, which is popularly referred as Anti-Defection Law, was inserted by the 52nd Amendment to the Constitution. So this Parliament made this 52nd Amendment to the Constitution in the year 1985 to introduce this Anti-Defection Law, to introduce 10th schedule into our Constitution. Why Parliament enacted this particular Anti-Defection Law? To ensure that a party member doesn't violate the mandate of the party. You all know that every party has their own ideology. Every party has their own mandate. A party member, a member from that political party shouldn't cross or shouldn't violate or shouldn't practice any action that is violative of party's ideology or party's mandate. That is the reason why, to ensure this, Parliament has come up with this particular Anti-Defection Law. If in case one person violates the mandate of the party, violates the ideology of the party, go against the political directives of that particular party, he will lose his membership of the house. That means he will be disqualified as a member of that particular house. And this law applies to both Parliament and state legislature as well, state assemblies as well. Very important point, you need to remember this. Now let us look at some important provisions under Anti-Defection Law or 10th schedule of our Constitution. Recently in Prelims 2022, there appeared a question on Anti-Defection Law, especially on the provisions of the Anti-Defection Law. And by the completion of this particular class, I am pretty sure you will be able to answer that particular question very easily. So under Anti-Defection Law, they mentioned some grounds for disqualification of a member of the house. Now let us look at when a member can be disqualified and on what grounds a member can be disqualified from the house according to Anti-Defection Law. The first point, if an elected member gives up his membership of a political party voluntarily. Let me explain this with an example. BJP party has given me the ticket to contest in general elections. But after the elections, if I decides to give up my membership with the BJP and join hands with Congress, then it is called defection. Voluntarily, on your own, if you take this decision of jumping from one party to the other, it simply accounts to defection. This is the first basic point. And now let us look at the second important point. If he votes or abstains from voting in the House, contrary to any direction issued by his political party. I already gave you an example on this particular provision. Let us take BJP party wants to come up with formulas, and BJP leadership, BJP political whip has directed me to vote in supportive of these formulas. But contrary to the direction given by political leadership, if I vote against these particular formulas, or if I am abstained from voting, that means not participating in this particular voting exercise, then it accounts to defection. Of course, there will be a window period of 15 days. Within 15 days, you need to explain the reason behind your action. You need to explain why you exercised your vote in contrary to the directions or rules given by the political leadership. If your party's leadership found your explanation satisfactory, then they may forgive you, or they may direct the Speaker of the House to take disciplinary actions, disqualifying actions on you. Right? These are two important provisions of anti-defection law. Let us look at the next important provision. If an independent member joins any political party, let me explain this with an example again. If you are an independent member who contested in general elections independently without showing your allegiance to any political party, and subsequently you won in elections, and later after the elections, after the polls, after the declaration of election results, if you join hands with any of the political parties, then it accounts to defection. An independent member is not supposed to join any other political party during his entire tenure. Right? I hope it is clear. If any nominated member joins any political party after the end of 6 months, I hope you all know this provision. 12 members will be nominated to Rajya Sabha for every 2 years because of their contributions to arts, science and social services by the President. President nominates 12 members to Rajya Sabha by taking into consideration of their service to the nation. Right? So, if these 12 members, if they want to join any political party, they can join within 6 months of their nomination, but they cannot join after the 6 months of their election. So if they join any other political party after the 6 months of their nomination, then they can be disqualified under the provisions of anti-defection law. This was actually asked in recent prelims paper. I hope it is clear till now. I am moving forward. And the 10th schedule of our Indian Constitution, that is anti-defection law, explicitly mentioned some exceptions as well for the disqualification of members. The first exception is when there is a case of merger, when there is a situation where 2/3 of the legislators of a political party decide to merge into another party, then neither members who decide to join nor the ones who stay with the original party will face disqualification. Again, let me explain this one with an example. First, suppose there were 90 legislators in the lower house of our parliament, that is Lok Sabha, 90 MPs. If 2/3 of the members, among these 90 legislators, 60 MPs shifts to or jumps to, defects to BJP party, then neither these 60 MPs nor the rest of the legislators in the Congress party, that means 30 legislators in the Congress party, they face disqualification. If there is a case of merger, this particular anti-defection law will not be applied. And sadly, these political parties and political leaders are using this particular loophole, this particular provision to defect from one party to the other. If there is one rebel, he gathers the support of other 2/3 members. Suppose there were 90 legislators from the Congress party, and among them one leader, if he is disappointed with the leadership, then he gathers other 59 members. He gathers the support of, he seeks the support of other 59 members, and on a whole, these 60 members jumps to BJP party to avoid disqualification. So critics say that, not me, critics say that this exception in the anti-defection law is leading to formation of different factions in political parties. Political parties are suffering with the formation of different factions, and these factions on a whole are defecting from their home party, their parent party, to the other party. Right? So this is one of the important exception. Second one, any person elected as chairman or speaker, simply presiding officer of any house, can resign from his party and rejoin the party if he demits that particular post. Let me explain this with an example again. If I am a legislator elected with the ticket of Congress party, for suppose, I can resign voluntarily from the Congress party without attracting any disqualification according to anti-defection law. But after resigning from my own political party, I shouldn't join other political party. If I join other political party like BJP, I will be disqualified from the house. That is for sure. So if you are elected to a constitutional office, that is as Speaker of Lok Sabha or Deputy Speaker of Lok Sabha, Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, I can voluntarily give up my membership to that particular party, and I will not attract any disqualification, because I may do that in order to be impartial in the day-to-day affairs of the house. Right? Suppose if I join any other party after resigning to my political party, then I will be subjected to disqualification. This was the first case. Let me give you the second case again. Rejoin the party if he demits that particular post. What does that simply mean? If I am elected as Speaker of Lok Sabha and I want to be impartial in the day-to-day affairs of the house, so I resign from the party which has given me the ticket to contest, that is Congress party, and I never joined any other political party, so I will not be subjected to disqualification. If in case all the other members of our house decided to remove me as the chairman, remove me as the speaker, then if I lose my position as speaker or chairman, I need to join the original party, the parent party that gave me the ticket, but not any other party. If I join after my removal, if I join my parent party, the party that gave me the ticket, that is Congress party again, I will not be subject to disqualification. But after my removal, if I join BJP party, Bharatiya Janata party, or any other party, I will be subjected to disqualification. I hope you understood both these exceptions in anti-defection law or 10th schedule of Indian Constitution. Now the $1 million question. Who was the deciding authority? Who decides whether a member should be disqualified or not? Who has the authority to deliberate or discuss on or come up with a decision on one member should be qualified or not? Any question regarding disqualification arising out of defection is to be decided by the presiding officer of the house. Presiding officer of the house. If it is Lok Sabha, either speaker or in the absence of speaker, the decision should be taken by deputy speaker. If it is Rajya Sabha, the decision should be taken by chairman, or in the absence of chairman, deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha. If it is the case with the legislative assembly or Vidhana Sabha, then the decision will be taken by the speaker, or in his absence, the decision will be finalized by deputy speaker. If it is legislative council or Vidhan Parishad, then the decision will be taken by chairman, or in his absence, deputy chairman. Right? And one thing you need to remember, there is no time limit binding on the presiding officer to decide on the aspect of disqualification, to decide on the issue of disqualification. Right? And this is another loophole. It is being used by many political parties to avoid defection. I hope it is clear till now. And the next question is the decision of the presiding officer subject to judicial review? Can we challenge the decision of the presiding officer in courts? Originally, the act provided that the presiding officer decision, the decision taken by the presiding officer was final and it is binding on the member and could not be questioned in any court of law. Through that particular provision, Anti-Defection Law explicitly, clearly provided judicial immunity to the decision of Speaker. But in Quijotto-Holahan case in 1993, in a landmark judgment, the Apex Court, the Supreme Court, declared that this particular provision, which is ensuring judicial immunity or legal immunity to the Speaker, to the Speaker's office, is unconstitutional. It is violating the basic structure of the Constitution. So the basic structure of the Constitution includes judicial review as well. But this provision is grossly violating the provisions of Constitution, grossly violating the basic spirit of Constitution, and this particular provision should be repealed at any cost, and the decision of presiding officer will be subjected to judicial review. This is what the verdict given by the Supreme Court. And again, in this particular case, the Apex Court, the Honorable Supreme Court, held that while deciding a question under 10th schedule, while deciding a question under Anti-Defection Law, while deciding whether a member should be qualified or not, the presiding officer should function as a tribunal. He should function as a quasi-judicial body. He should be impartial at any cost. That is the reason why his or her decision will be subjected to judicial review. This is what held by the Supreme Court in this particular judgment, that is Quijotto-Holahan judgment. However, the Supreme Court made it clear that there might not be any judicial intervention until the presiding officer gives his order. The courts can intervene only after the presiding officer's issue of orders, but till then the courts cannot intervene in the functions of legislature, in the functions of presiding officers of the legislature. This is what held by the Supreme Court. You can clearly see the manifestation of this particular aspect in a recent example. The year 2015, Hyderabad High Court declined to intervene after hearing a petition which alleged that there had been a delay by the Telangana Assembly Speaker in taking action against a member under the Anti-Defection Law. What happened is, in the year of 2014, a member from one political party of Telangana state, he defected to other political party, which is in power then. Then the members and leadership of his home party, parent party, take this issue to the notice of Speaker of the House. While the Speaker is delaying in coming up with his own decision, the opposition party leaders, they approached Telangana High Court, they approached Hyderabad High Court to complain on the Speaker, who is biased towards his own party, who is not taking action on the defected member on account of Anti-Defection Law. So then Hyderabad High Court came up with its own decision, came up with its own verdict that it cannot intervene in this particular process until the presiding officer gives his order. Right? So this is very, very, very important. Let's move to the next slide then. So the next question, is there a time limit within which the presiding officer should decide? I have already answered this particular question earlier. Let us look at this. There is no time limit as per the law, as per the Anti-Defection Law, as per 10th schedule of the Constitution, within which the presiding officer should decide on a plea for disqualification. He can prolong, he can delay the process forever. And this is the major loophole that is being used by many political parties in our country to avoid from disqualification under Anti-Defection Law. And even the courts can intervene, courts can make a decision, courts can take up this particular case only after the officer has made a decision, only after the presiding officer's decision was out. So the only option for the petitioner is to wait until the decision is made. So the petitioner should wait until the decision is made. So after the decision is out, he or she can approach courts. And there have been several cases where the courts have expressed concern about the unnecessary delay in deciding such petitions. These presiding officers, speakers or deputy speakers, chairmen or deputy chairmen, they're taking unnecessary time. They are actually delaying the process of disqualification using this particular provision. Many courts expressed their concerns over the exploitation of this particular provision according to the interests of different political parties. In a few cases, There have been many instances, many situations where members who are defected from one political party to the other, no, they continued to be house members. They were not subjected to disqualification. They were not disqualified under anti-defection law because of the delay in decision making by the presiding officer, that is speaker or chairman of the house. And there have also been instances where members from the opposition parties, members who elected to the house from the political party which is opposite to the party in power, they were appointed as ministers in the government. They are actually given the ministerial position in the government while still being members of their original parties in the state legislature. So on paper, they were members of other political party, opposition party, but they were given ministerial positions in the governments in power. So these are some concerns with the anti-defection law. So with this, I hope you clearly understood the ongoing political crisis in Maharashtra and the provisions of anti-defection law, exceptions of anti-defection law, and the concerns with anti-defection law. So for many more explained videos and videos with comprehensive analysis from the background and full details, please hit that subscribe button, and if possible, please hit that big fat like button and share your opinions on this particular video through your valuable comments. Thank you so much for all the love and support so far. Thank you so much. Let's meet again in the next video. Thank you so much. All the very best for your preparation.